Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today I'm going to take a look at this monster right here. It's called Heroes of Normandie, and it is a game for 2 players, a squad level tactical combat game set in World War II. So let's take a look at it and we'll see what we think. The scenario booklet is rather detailed on what it gives you and all the information that's there. First of all, you have the army composition, just a very basic set. If you look at other scenarios, you see that other kinds of units are added to it. So there it is. Also tells you the board setup, deployment zones, how to set up the decks, what cards you have to take out, all that good stuff, what will happen in the different event triggers down here, what kind of reinforcements are going to be coming in as well. The German player is going to be getting a SDK UFZ 254, and the American player is going to be getting a half track. All right, so the scenario book is very good and allows for ease of play very quickly. These are your order tokens that you'll be using to order your different units on the battlefield. Each unit has certain things on them that are needful to understand during gameplay. For example, this fire team here. First of all, this sword up here tells you that it is an assault unit, so it can perform close assault in combat. The blue arrow denotes its movement. And then the 4 here, and with a yellow in the background, determines what kind of unit it is, which means it is an infantry unit. Yellow is infantry. The purple is a light vehicle, and then the silver is an heavy armored vehicle. This 2 here means that it has +2 when attacking infantry units. The +1 in the purple thing up there means that it is +1 against attacking light vehicles, and then the X over here in the silver means that it is unable to attack heavy armored vehicles. All right, and then this symbol over here means that if this unit is hit, you would flip it over. If it takes another hit, you'll see down in the bottom there, if it takes another hit, it's dead. And you'll also notice that the stats changed as well. This is your unit board, so to speak, and it tells you how many command tokens you're going to get at the beginning of the game. There are 2 stars and +1 over here, so that's 3 altogether, which means you'll have be able to order 3 units, but you also have a bluff token as well, so that your opponent won't know exactly what 3 units are going to be ordered, especially when there are only 4 units. That's important for you to be able to bluff at least on 1. These are your cards that you're going to have during the course of the game. In this scenario, we're both going to draw 4 cards before the scenario starts. Moving to the different icons that are on the board, because this is another cool thing that Heroes of Normandie does. It actually puts those battle modifiers actually on the board. First of all, if a unit is in this hex, it gets a +2 defense. If it's infantry, okay? Heavy and light vehicles cannot pass through this. That's what the little no entry sign means over the silver and the purple icons. This means that it blocks line of sight. The triangle with a red, the red triangle with a white X in it means that it blocks line of sight. And then this one means that you cannot move through it. So you can move in, but you have to stop, and then on your next turn you can move out again. Here means that you cannot move through that. One of the cool things about Heroes of Normandie is that you can have diagonal movement during the battle, but at spaces like this, you cannot move from here to here. So as we begin, we're going to first of all roll for initiative. So I'm going to have 1 American and 1 German die here. Whoever has the highest roll gets initiative. All right, so Germans have a 6. Americans have a 5, so we take the initiative token and turn it over to the German side, which means that they now have initiative. Okay, now the first thing that you do after having determined initiative is you deploy your forces. The person who got the initiative has to deploy their forces first, and then the other person deploys all of their forces. Fire group here, I'm going to have another fire group over here. Then our recon group, we're going to go to 3 spaces out here. And then my lieutenant will deploy over here by this fire group. All right, so that's my deployments. Now it's my opponent's turn to deploy. Start with a support team there. A fire team will go right next to them. And then Lieutenant Parks will be right here. Actually, you know what? Let's switch those two. Let's put those guys like that. And then our scouts here, we're going to deploy 3 outside. So 1, 2, 3. And I don't know if I want to deploy on the same zone as him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. We'll deploy right here outside of our deployment zone. Now, after deployment is done, now the order phase happens, and this is when we take our order tokens and actually place them on the units, determining what units we're going to activate during the activation phase. This is done simultaneously between both players. At this point, both players would both draw, for this scenario specifically, we would both draw 4 cards. German player has already drawn his, and my 4 cards are these. All right, during the activation phase, we're going to take turns activating our units. I would go ahead and reveal that my number 1 is this fire group back here. Now, with him, I can either move or fire. Now, if I move, I can also assault if my movement puts me in a space where I am able to assault an enemy unit. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3 into that hex right there. Then on the American side, we can take this fire team here, and we can move them also 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, up like this. On the German side, I reveal my next person here, and fire group is going to be able to move 3, and we'll just go 1, 2, and we'll be done there. Over here, my number 2, the support team is going to move. They also have a movement of 3. So let's see here. We're just going to move them 1, 2. Then our number 3 over here on the German side is going to be Lieutenant Helfer, and he's going to be able to move 4. So we will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then my Lieutenant Parks is also able to move 4. He will go 1, 2, 3, 4. The bluff tokens would be removed from the board, and then any unit that has not yet moved could then move, including those units that had bluff tokens on them. So then, at the end of the supply phase, we would advance the round marker and then flip it to show that the Americans have the initiative now. We would remove all of the command tokens from the board, and we go straight to the order phase, which is done simultaneously by both players. Okay, now we move into the activation phase. We're going to activate these guys. We're going to move him 1, 2, 3 right here. But as we were moving through, the German player has a card that it wants to play. That card is Opportunistic Fire, which basically means that you can play during the activation of an enemy unit, and if the enemy unit moves, one of your units can immediately shoot at it. The unit must not have already acted in the activation phase. So none of the German player's units have activated, so he is able to play this card, and he's going to allow his Lieutenant Helfer here to take a shot of opportunity on that support team. Now, the unit has a defense of 4, and it is out in the open, so it doesn't have any terrain modifiers to that defense. So the German player is going to have to roll a 4 or better. The lieutenant has a +2 when attacking infantry units, so he will get that +2. So he's going to be rolling 1 die, with a +2 added to it. All right, so 5 plus 2 is 7, which is greater than the defense value of the unit, which means this unit takes a hit. Now, when that unit took a hit, it would normally have to be flipped over, like so, which means that if it takes another hit, it's going to be eliminated from the board. But thankfully, the American player has a Thank the Helmet card in his hand, and so whenever he has to take a hit or be eliminated, then he can play this card. We're going to ignore the result, and we have to place a suppressed modifier token on that unit, but he can continue his movement over here. So now he's going to be -2 to any firing actions on his turn. All right, so that person is done. Okay, it's now the German player's activation turn, and we're going to activate our number 1 over here, this recon group, to open fire on the fire team that's in the bushes across that way. We have a +1 modifier to hit infantry units, and the fire team has a defense of 4. There is usually no line of sight, range modifier unless one of the groups has that little icon. This icon, the red number with a blue arrow behind it, means that it can only shoot 4 hexes, or rather 4 squares away. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you don't have that icon, you can usually fire at any distance, but if you fire past 7 squares, then you begin to take a -2 penalty. So if you're shooting at 8 squares away, it would be -2 to your roll. I have to also check line of sight. So our line of sight from here to the beginning, there's no problems here. Now, if I was over here, if the unit was over here, it would be blocked by this hedge. So I'm looking at I need to get a 4 or better with this modifier of 1. So I'm looking at a 3 or higher. Okay, so I have a 4 plus 1 is 5, which is greater than his defense value of 4. So I would flip that over, and he has taken a hit. If he takes another hit, he is toast. All right. Okay, on the American player's turn, we're going to play Burst into Action. It says play before activating one of your units. So I can shoot before, during, or after its movement, even if its action ends in an assault. And there is no penalty for taking this shot. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card. And we're going to activate the fire team that just got shot up. We're going to move 1, 2, and then we're going to fire at that team that just fired at us. And again, we have a +1 to hit infantry units, and he has a 5 defense. I need to roll a 4 or better. And that's a 3. I missed. Okay, so I move in here as my last movement. All right, on the German side, my 2 was already activated for that opportunistic fire card that I played earlier. So he will not, that one is not done, so I activate my number 3 instead. I'm just going to move. We're going to kind of bank on that a 5 is rolled, hopefully. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Hopefully a 5 will be rolled, and those plans just drop right there. And my lieutenant can run away with them while these guys provide suppressing fire. That's what I'm thinking. I activate my number 3, Lieutenant Parks here. Lieutenant Parks is just going to move 1 space over here so that he can have line of fire on this group here on a future turn. Now, a group that was not ordered, including these guys and these guys, would be able to move during the supply phase. We would be able to move these guys first, but we're not going to. So these guys get to move now. They can only move, they cannot fire, so we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. And that'll provide a base of retreat fire, hopefully. See how that roll goes. And then we would also be able to, during the supply phase, you can remove 1 and only 1 suppressed marker from any unit. So we're going to remove that from that unit as well. And now, at the end of the supply phase, we're going to roll a die to determine where the files fall. And look at that. The files fall right on the 5. And we move to round 3, in which the Germans have initiative. Well, that worked out for them, didn't it? On the Germans, at the beginning of the Germans' order phase, we're going to play the tactician, which allows him to have 1 additional order token this turn. So that will give him the use of a 4. So he'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4 with no bluff. And now, since the order phase is over, activation phase begins. And the Germans have the initiative. So we're going to reveal Lieutenant Helfer here. Now, in order to pick up the files, you have to stop in the hex. I'm pretty sure he is stopped in the hex. So he's going to pick up the files, and then he's going to move, and the files move with him whenever he moves. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and get back into cover. Now the Americans are kind of rushing here. We're going to activate our support team. Now our support team has a movement of 3, and it can also assault. I'm going to move 1, and then I'm going to assault. And I'm going to put him, overlay it to show that you are in close combat with that person. Both units have the assault ability, so each person is going to take 2 dice and choose the best. That's what the assault ability gives you. If you did not have the assault ability on that unit, you would only use 1 die, and then you just get whatever you roll. But with the assault ability, you roll 2 dice and take the higher result. Oh, well, look at that. All right, the Germans rolled 2 2s, so they have a 2 plus a 2, so that's 4. And these guys have a 2 plus, they roll 2 6s. That is amazing. So that's 8. So the German player definitely loses the assault. Okay, since the attacker won, what happens is that the defending unit has to then retreat into one of the 3 hexes that it is adjacent to. So it cannot retreat this way, so it has to retreat either here or here. We're going to have him retreat there, and we're good to go. Also, the unit has to flip. Now we're going to activate this recon group here, and we're going to shoot at this assaulting unit right there. And so they have a +1 for shooting. And then this group here has a +2 because they are in the bushes, and so they have a 4. So they have a 6 defense against a 1. So I'm looking at rolling a 5 or higher for my shot. And that is a 5. So this unit must be flipped over. And so now this unit activates. What we're going to do here is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and also assault this group right here. So we'll see what we can do. 2 dice are rolled on both sides. I have a +1 and a +1, so it's basically just a straight up die roll. All right, so the German player's highest roll is a 4, and the American player's roll is the highest is a 5. So the American player wins, and that eliminates this German unit. This is where the gamble is going to see if it really paid off or not, because now this fire group has open targeting for this fire team that's out in the open here after having assaulted that group. So he has a +2. They have a defense of 5. They're going to he's going to need to roll a 3 or better with 1 die. Oh wait, I'm the German player. No, 9. So he misses. A 2 + 2 is a 4, which does not equal his 5. Okay, Lieutenant Parks over here is the last person to go. We're going to have him take a shot at one of these units and try to lighten the load that they're having to bear right now. So he has a +2. These guys have a +2 to defense, so it's a 7. So he needs to roll a 5 or better in order to attack will. That's a 7. So this unit is eliminated. So that's how you play Heroes of Normandy. One of the things that was always in the back of my mind as I was learning Heroes of Normandy, people were asking me left and right, is this going to replace Memoir 44? No, it has not replaced Memoir 44 for me, and I'll go through those reasons why so that you can understand my reasoning. First of all, Memoir 44 is a simpler game. Now, that's not to say that Heroes of Normandy isn't simple. It is simply to say that this is more complex than Memoir 44. The dice rolling, while I enjoy dice rolling, it's one of my favorite mechanisms, it is more complex than the dice rolling in Memoir 44. In Memoir 44, you're simply trying to hit, you're trying to roll the silhouettes that match the type of unit that you're trying to hit. But with this, it's a little bit more mathy. You have a to hit number, then you have modifiers for your terrain and what kind of unit you're shooting at and all of that kind of stuff. While it provides a more sound simulation of combat, it loses, in my opinion, in the complexity that it offers. I would rather just be able to look at the board and say, okay, those are the units I get. I place those units out. Now I'm ready to go. With Heroes of Normandy, there is the added complexity level of building my own troops. Now, again, that's going to give me a force that is more what I want to put on the field rather than what was just dictated to me. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Please understand me. I think it's a really cool aspect of the game, but it's just more complex than Memoir 44. At the same time, however, this is a great combat system. If you think Memoir 44 is just a little bit too simple and you want to be able to have more control over what you're putting on the field, what forces you're putting on the field. If you are looking for a little bit more of a realistic, I guess you could say, simulation of conflict, then this might be the way for you to go. The rule book is very difficult to get through. To understand how to play the game, I had to read the rules multiple times in order to have a basic understanding of how I played. But even then, that wasn't enough. I had to go watch a few videos. And then, thankfully, I was able to play a scenario through with the designer Clem at Gen Con this year. So that provided the final cut in understanding how to play the game. All in all, Heroes of Normandy gets 1.5 thumbs up for me because of its complex nature. I am looking for a little bit more simplicity from this kind of game. And while I enjoy everything about Heroes of Normandy, I love the artwork, love the feel that each battle scenario gives you. I love being able to diversify your forces. I love that idea. But as with another game that is similar to that, something like Mage Wars, I'm on the low end of wanting to do that, not on the high end. I'd rather just have my troops set out for me. So 1.5 thumbs up from me for Heroes of Normandy. Definitely try before you buy, but go check it out. See you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.